In this section, we will discuss the fundamental discrete time signals. In the previous 2 lectures, we studied the basic continuous time signals and learned how to represent and plot them in Python. Now, the first fundamental discrete time signal we will study is the unit impulse signal. According to its definition, the unit impulse signal is a signal whose magnitude is equal to 1 only when time is equal to 0, and for all other time values, that is, when time is not equal to 0, its magnitude is 0. This means the signal exists only at time equals 0 and is 0 elsewhere. So at time equals 0, the amplitude of the signal is 1, and for all other time values, the amplitude is 0. This is what we call the unit impulse function in discrete form. In our previous lectures, we have already seen the unit impulse function in continuous form, and now we are observing it in the discrete domain. We can also perform time shifting operations on the discrete impulse signal just like we did for continuous signals. Normally, the impulse signal exists at time equals 0. However, we can shift this signal either to the right or to the left of the origin. These 2 operations are called time delay and time advance, respectively. When we delay the signal, we move it toward the right-hand side of the time axis. For example, if we want to delay the signal by 2 units, the equation of the delayed impulse becomes delta of open parenthesis n minus 2 close parenthesis. This means the impulse, which was originally at time equals 0, now occurs at time equals 2. If we look at the plot, we can see that the impulse, which was initially located at 0, is now positioned 2 units to the right. The minus sign inside the parentheses indicates that this is a delay operation. Similarly, we can also advance the impulse signal by shifting it to the left-hand side of the time axis. For instance, if we want to advance the signal by 2 units, the equation becomes delta of open parenthesis n plus 2 close parenthesis. The plus sign indicates advancement. This means the impulse will now appear at time equals -2. That is, 2 units to the left of the origin. So in summary, a time delay moves the signal to the right and is represented as delta of open parenthesis n minus k close parenthesis, while a time advance moves the signal to the left and is represented as delta of open parenthesis n plus k close parenthesis, where k is the number of units of shift. By visualizing the impulse function and applying these time shifting operations, we can better understand how discrete signals behave when delayed or advanced in time. So similarly, the plus sign indicates the advancement of the signal. In the same way we did with the continuous time signals, we can also shift discrete time signals either toward the right side of the 0 point or toward the left side. The second most important signal in this category is the unit step signal, denoted by u of n. Its definition states that u of n is equal to 1 when n is equal to or greater than 0, and it is equal to 0 when n is less than 0. This means the signal exists only for n equal to or greater than 0, and for all negative time values, the magnitude of the signal is 0. This is the definition of the unit step signal, and in its discrete form, we can observe that the amplitude remains 0 for time values less than 0. At time equal to 0, the signal steps up to 1 and remains constant at that level afterward. That is why it is called a step function. Now, let's perform time shifting on this discrete step signal. We can move the step signal in both directions, to the right or to the left of the origin. When we shift it to the right by 2 units, it becomes a time delayed step signal. In this case, the signal starts 2 samples later than the original one. Similarly, for time advancement, we move the signal 2 units before n equals 0, that is, toward the negative side of the time axis, or for n less than 0. So, just as we did with the continuous time signals, we can also delay or advance the discrete time unit step signal. This shows how flexible discrete signals are when it comes to time manipulation. The third important signal is the unit ramp signal. From its definition, we know that it increases linearly with time. In the discrete form, the unit ramp signal behaves similarly. Its amplitude is equal to the value of the time index. For example, when n equals 1, the amplitude is 1. When n equals 2, the amplitude is 2. When n equals 3, the amplitude is 3, and so on. In general, the value of the signal at any time point is equal to that time point itself. This is a very simple signal to understand. For example, when the sample is at n equals 6, the amplitude or magnitude of that sample is also 6. This is the unit ramp signal in discrete form, and we have already studied it in continuous form in earlier lectures. Next, we have the sinusoidal signal. Here, the sinusoidal signal is represented in discrete form rather than continuous form. We can clearly see the individual discrete samples forming the sine wave. The samples that are above the zero line represent the positive half cycles, while those below represent the negative half cycles. One complete group of positive and negative samples makes one full cycle of the sine wave. In this figure, we can see that the sine wave completes 5 full cycles, meaning the sinusoidal signal in this case oscillates 5 times within the given range. This demonstrates how the continuous sine wave appears when represented as discrete samples. The next signal is the unit exponential signal. From the definition of the exponential signal, which we learned earlier in the continuous time domain, we know that its maximum value occurs when time equals 0. At n equals 0, its value is 1, and as time increases, the signal decays exponentially according to the equation e raised to the power of minus n, that is e to the power negative n. We can clearly see this exponential decay in the signal. It starts with its maximum amplitude of 1 at time equals 0, and as n increases, its magnitude decreases smoothly. This is the exponential signal in discrete form. So in this video, we have learned about all the fundamental discrete time signals, including the unit impulse, the unit step, the unit ramp, the sinusoidal, and the exponential signals. These are the same signals we studied earlier in their continuous time forms, but now we have seen how they appear and behave in the discrete domain. In the next lecture, we will learn how to generate these discrete time signals in Python.